If you're a football supporter going to see your team play Charlton Athletic, this is just a little idea for quite a pleasant way to get to the ground. Now, I support Lincoln City, and I've been 3 years in a row to see them play away at Charlton. And the first time I came, I just used the train from London Bridge Station, which takes about 15 minutes, so it's quite an easy journey. But not particularly pleasant. It's just a train journey, simple as that. And then the second year I came, I used the bus from North Greenwich bus station, which is right next to the O2 Arena. But this time I thought I'd spend a bit more time, just have a walk to the ground. It takes about 40 minutes to walk to the ground from Greenwich Peninsula, from the O2 Arena. But it's a really pleasant walk, and I think most away supporters don't really know that it exists. What you need to do, if you get to North Greenwich tube station, which is on the Jubilee line, right next to the O2 Arena, you can't miss it, and you go round the back of the O2 Arena, and there is a cable car which you can see now. It used to be called the Emirates Airline. I think it has a different name now, but it keeps changing its name. So you go to the start of this cable car and then walk round the back, and there's something called the Thames Pathway, and it goes all along the side of the River Thames around the Greenwich Peninsula, and it goes all the way towards the Thames Barrier, which again is something you can't miss, which I'll show you in a moment. So once you get there, you turn off towards Charlton, and it's only about another 15 minutes and you're at the ground. So walking along this Thames pathway, it's quite nice when the tide's out as well, because there's actually a beach. A lot of people don't realise the Thames does have a bit of a beach, which you can see here. And it's quite a nice walk with all the lights in the background. And there's a marina, and there's also an ecology park called North Greenwich Ecology Park, which is free entry and it's open every day, and it's a nice stopping off place. It's about halfway between the O2 Arena and Charlton Athletic's ground. So that's the place you can stop off on the way, and you can see in the distance the Thames Barrier lit up there. So it'll take you probably about 20-25 minutes to walk along the side of the Thames. You can even walk part of the way along the beach that you can see here, or if you prefer you can just walk along the pathway, which is well lit, and keep going until you get to a rather nice pub, which I'm going to show you next. So after walking for about 20 minutes, you get to this place, which is a yacht club, so it's quite a good landmark to know where you are, and you are now probably just over halfway to Charlton's stadium. So if you have been walking along the beach, this is the point at which you actually leave the beach, when you get to the Greenwich Yacht Club, and you turn right. So you'll be walking probably about 20 minutes from the O2 Arena along this beach, or along the path at the side of the beach. You can't walk entirely along the beach. It depends whether the tide's in or out. Sometimes there's no beach at all, but it is quite a nice pleasant walk along the beach if the tide is out. So you reach the Greenwich Yacht Club, which is nicely lit up, and at that point you turn right down this pathway, and we're now about halfway between the O2 Arena and Charlton's football ground. So it should take you about 20 minutes to walk along here, and at this point you turn right, and then we'll reach that pub that I was talking about. It's really well signposted, so you take that right turn that I mentioned, and then you take a left turn, and it's signposted for the Thames Pathway. So just keep following the signs along the Thames Path. There's quite a lot of new build apartments around here, and it is well lit, so it's perfectly safe. Lots of people around, quite a lot of joggers, and then just keep following the Thames Path. So after a few minutes you've got to the other side of the Greenwich Yacht Club, and the pathway you're on is actually called Mudlark's Way, so that's a good way to remember where you are. Don't turn off at this point, stay on the Thames Path, which goes down here, and keep following it until you get to the Anchor and Hope pub, which is about another 5 minutes walk. As you can see, you've got some fantastic views of Docklands and the North Greenwich Peninsula with all the lights. It really does look lovely at night, especially if you're coming for a night match. But it's also great if you're coming for a day game as well. And again, some great views out over the River Thames. And the river does get quite wide at this point as well. And it is quite spectacular in parts. It's just a lovely little walk. Very well signposted. And by this point, there are some signs for the actual pub, for the Anchor and Hope pub as well, which is only a few minutes further along this road. So continuing along the Thames pathway, again it looks a bit dark, but it is actually very well signposted, and it's also very well lit, and lots of people going past. There are a lot of new build apartments around here. It is quite a nice area. I imagine at one point it probably wouldn't have been, but lots of yuppie flats, lots of young people jogging past, as you can see. So perfectly safe, and just a really nice route to Charlton's ground from the O2 Arena. You can see there the Thames flood barrier lit up. Quite a spectacular thing actually, the Thames barrier, when you get close up to it. And we're going to continue now along the Thames pathway, and in a few moments we'll be at the Anchor and Hope pub, where I'm going to have a pint. To be honest, this part of the journey is the least scenic part of the journey. There's just various building works going on and warehouses and that type of thing, so this is the only part of the journey which isn't particularly scenic. The first 20 minutes are lovely, really nice along the Thames, and then you've just got this bit that isn't quite as nice. At this point it almost feels like we're in the middle of nowhere, but fear not, we're almost at the pub, and when you get to the pub you're about 2/3 of the way to the football ground. It's not that scenic in this part of the route, but it is quite interesting. It gives you a sort of an impression of real London, real industrial London. And it is quite interesting, even though it's not particularly scenic. And so here we are. We've made it to this lovely old historic London pub called the Anchor and Hope. And it's taken about 25 minutes to walk here from the O2 Arena, which is at North Greenwich, near North Greenwich Underground Station. So I've come here to watch my team Lincoln City play on a Tuesday night in winter, so I'm not going to be sitting outside. But as you can see here, this is fantastic. They've got a beer garden outside, and it's right next to the River Thames. So you're actually overlooking the Thames, and it's an absolutely fantastic location. So I imagine if it had been a Saturday, or if you were coming in summer, then this would be a fantastic place to sit outside and have a beer and look out over the Thames before the football match. So it's taken me about 25 minutes to get here so far, and it's about another 15 minutes to the football ground from here. So in total it'll take you about 40 minutes to walk, which might sound like a long time, but it is a nice, pleasant journey if you've got plenty of time and you're down in London, rather than just taking the train or taking a bus to Charlton's ground. If you can be bothered to have a 40-minute walk, then you're going to see some really nice sights over the Thames around the North Greenwich Peninsula. And just past halfway, about 2/3 of the way, we've got this lovely pub to look forward to, which is where I'm going right now. So that is the Anchor and Hope pub, an absolutely wonderful, very old traditional South London boozer. And look on top, it's even got a lighthouse on top. That's amazing. And it's about 15 minutes walk away from Charlton's ground. It's not on the beaten track, so to speak. So unless you take the route that I've suggested, you won't be anywhere near the pub. So if you want to come to this pub, make sure you take the route that I've suggested in this film. And in the pub car park, look at that, eels on wheels, if you fancy some eels, right next to the River Thames. Look at that. What a wonderful location for a pub here on the Greenwich Peninsula. And watch this as I turn around from the pub beer garden. Incredible views, even nicer in the evening. Looking over the River Thames there as it winds its way around the Greenwich Peninsula, and you can see all the lights of Docklands. And it's a bit chilly because this is February, but if this had been in summer, it would have been lovely sitting outside here having a pint. My only complaint about the pub is they didn't really have a very good choice of beers. I ended up having to have a Heineken lager, not any decent local craft beers or real ales. It was more of a kind of a lager drinkers pub. But aside from that, absolutely lovely inside, really old, traditional, how pubs used to be many decades ago, especially here in places in sort of working class areas of South London. So wonderful location to sit outside and have a drink. And it's about 2/3 of the way between the North Greenwich tube station and Charlton's ground. Now this is a long way round. I have to stress that if you just want to get to the ground quickly, this is not the way to come. If you want to get, if you're an away supporter and you're going to Charlton, going to the Valley, the quickest route is just to go to London Bridge Station and take an overground train, which will take you about 15 minutes, 20 minutes at most, and the trains are very frequent. The other route is to go to North Greenwich tube station on the Jubilee line, and then you take a bus, and there are lots of buses from what you probably know as the O2 Arena. It used to be the Millennium Dome. You can get a bus from there which takes about half an hour. But if you take the route that I'm suggesting, the walking route, it's the scenic route. It takes about 40 minutes, about 25 minutes from the North Greenwich Underground station, from the O2 Arena to this pub here, to the Anchor and Hope. It's an unusual name, that. I thought they'd call it Hope and Anchor, but they call it the Anchor and Hope, with a lovely beer garden overlooking the River Thames. That'll take you about 25 minutes, and then it's about another 15 minutes to walk to the Valley, the home of Charlton Athletic. So when you leave the pub, you just turn right and then take a sharp right onto Anchor and Hope Lane, and then you literally follow that road all the way to the Valley, the home of Charlton Athletic Football Club. And then just follow this road all the way to the ground, which is on the left further up. If you don't want to do this journey going back, then the Charlton train station isn't very far away, just up this road. So what I'm going to do, what I'd advise you to do is basically do the nice scenic walk that I've just described on the way to the ground, but then take the train back to London Bridge, and then of course you can get the Northern Line or the Jubilee Line or any of the main tube lines back to wherever it is that you need to go. I will be getting the Northern Line up to King's Cross, and then the 11:30 p.m. train back home to Leeds. So let's get to the ground. And just a bit further up this road and we're almost there now. So slight incline, but it's not like walking up a steep hill or anything like that. It'll take you 10 to 15 minutes and you're there. Just a couple of coaches from Lincoln tonight. It is a Tuesday night match, the weather's not very good, and it is the middle of winter, so I wouldn't really expect that many away supporters. I think Lincoln will probably bring about 300 or 400. Probably would have brought nearer 1,000 if it had been in sort of April or May on a Saturday, but Tuesday night, not going to be that many away supporters from Lincoln. There certainly won't be any away supporters from Leeds, apart from myself, of course. And when you get to the top of this road, here is Charlton Station. So if you do what I suggest, you'll take the walk to the ground, but then hop on the train back to London Bridge Station. And the trains are very, very frequent. They're about every 10 minutes to London Bridge. Well, I hope you found this film useful. As I said at the start, if you are looking for the quickest route, then the best way to travel here is by train from London Bridge Station. But if you want to have a more pleasant route, then if you walk from North Greenwich Underground along the Thames path, you get some fantastic views all along the river. About 20 minutes of fantastic views. You get a little industrial area, a fantastic pub to stop off at with a really great pub garden overlooking the Thames, and then it's just another 10 to 15 minute walk to the valley. So total walking time about 40 minutes. It's not for everyone, but if you've got plenty of time and you're not just coming here for the football and you want to actually have a nice experience, then that's what I would do. I would go to North Greenwich Station, where the O2 Arena is, and then just walk from there and take the route I've suggested. And you have a really nice day out and some fantastic views of London and a really, really nice traditional old London pub to visit as well. Well, my name's Darren Bugg. Thanks for watching. I make lots of films on YouTube about football, about travel, hotel reviews, and also a lot of business films as well. So if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe, please like, please share, tell your friends, and until next time, happy travelling and up the imps.